Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jason Nicholson. I'm the Special Events Coordinator for Recreation and Parks. Wanted to say thank you very much for taking time out to join us today. This is the first of 3 workshop sessions that we have introduced for 2019. They're related to event permitting. Many of you have expressed over the years that there's confusion from time to time on completing applications and understanding the requirements, and we're trying to take a renewed step in bringing you updated information in a small forum that gives you a chance to ask questions as well as to see the basic framework for our permitting changes. So with that, we will obviously be communicating with you after this via email for the following sessions as reminders. And I'd like to bring up Steve Paulin. Steve is our race event coordinator. Steve will be walking you through the online event application format for today.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for, again, coming out today. And we are going to be mainly focusing on the new online application that we have rolled out a couple of months ago. The whole point of actually everything that we've been working on is to make a more streamlined and simplified process so that everything can be done online, combining multiple applications with other various departments around the city to eliminate additional paperwork and permits that you guys need to obtain. So we'll just kind of go through quickly on what is going to be needed for you to get to the application. Some of you have been doing events before in Columbus, and some of you are completely new to the process altogether. So I just wanted to take a second to showcase where you can find all of our event permitting materials. The website is actually columbus.gov/event planning guide. On there, there's the web page that has all of our details and information. Another way to find that is if you just go to columbus.gov and under the quick link section at the top of the page, there's an icon to go to the event planning guide itself. Or the long way of getting there is actually through columbus.gov, finding Recreation and Parks under Office of Special Events, and then selecting the event planning guide. Once you get to the event planning guide page, all of the documents that you need for obtaining permits are listed here. It does include an actual PDF version of the event planning guide document that has the process and procedures for obtaining the permits, the event application, maps, and additional sample documents, anything that you might possibly need. When you actually look through both the event planning guide and the event application, we've designed them to be flowing in the same order. So as you're reading the application, you can also read the event planning guide and they will go together so you're not jumping around trying to figure out what needs to happen. It should be a nice, simple flow for everybody. Then on this page, if you would click on the event application, it takes you to this new login page. This is where everyone would need to actually create an account to access the online application. If you are a true new user, you would simply just fill out that new user section, and all we're asking from you is a username and a password and an email address. Very simple. At any point in the application process, you are actually able to save and you can come back later. So if you do that, you would just need to sign in as the returning user with just your username and password. If you are someone who actually deals with multiple events in Columbus, you only need one account to access multiple applications. If you are wanting to, you do have that option to create a different account for each event if you are going to be sharing that password with other groups, but that is personally your own choice. You only need one account to proceed to the application. Once you log in, the very first page of the application shows basic instructions. I won't read through everything, but the kind of key points here is to looping you back to the event planning guide page. So if you have any other information that you're missing, always refer back to that page and it'll help you find what you need. We also do have an event permit calendar was one of the other instructions that you can find what dates are available or currently already have events permitted in the upcoming year. But the most important note is that on the rest of page 1 of this application is the basic information that we need from you to start this application. So if you are a new event and you are just trying to hold a date or find what's available, we're only going to ask you to fill out page 1 of the application, save that progress, and that will put you in that holding pattern so that you can claim a date first and foremost. We won't make you answer all the nitty-gritty details of your event. That'll all be on page 2 of the application, but we can at least have a space held for you. As you scroll down on page 1 of the application, the very first item is actually going to be what type of event you want. Most of you are probably either a special event, which is the festivals and concerts, or your race events, so your 5Ks up to a marathon. We did make a change that block parties are truly for residential block parties only. So if you are a larger festival that's closing down streets, you are still considered a special event. And the street closures are all just worked into your special event permit. So you do not need to get a special event permit and a block party permit anymore. And then marine events would then cover everyone who's doing events on the waterways. The next step in this section was the basic applicant information. This is where we just want to know your very basic contact information. One of the really beneficial parts to this online application is that multiple city departments have access to this. So in our goal of trying to combine applications, we're trying to simplify it so you're not filling out your name and phone number on 5 to 10 different applications and combining it all into one. This application can actually feed into those other applications. Oh, actually, I'm going to go back here. Anything that's on this page as well that's marked as a red asterisk is something that is required for you to fill out. And then anything that is listed in just plain red text is more notes or information or guidelines for you to help you along in the application. Moving right along. The last part of page 1 is the general information of the event itself. So we want to know what is the name of the event, where are you planning on doing it, some of the basic event components, whether it's a festival or a concert or a 5K. Then we move into the actual dates and times of your event. So right at the beginning there, it shows the first day of setup and that start time. We just want to know when you are really beginning your setup of the event, and then we understand that everything between that start of the setup and then the first day of the event is all your setup time. Then actually moving on a little further down, the last day of teardown, we just want to know when is the very last time you will be in the park space. Everything between the event and the teardown, we understand is just fully part of that teardown time. But for the event date, start time and end time, we know this will be a little redundant for anyone who is a one-day event. We still want you to list the start date and end date as the same information to just make sure we are all on the same page that it is a one-day event. But if you are a multi-day event, like a weekend festival, then we would know what is your start and end time. Or if you are a series, we still just want to know what is that very first day of that event series and what is the very last day of that event series. Below those times, there is a section for you to fill out additional date and time information. That is more for those event series. Anything that's either a one-day or just a multi-day festival, we will understand that it's that range of from first day to end day. But if you're a multi-day series, this is where you can list that for us that we know it's only every single Sunday for the next couple of months or whatever the case may be. At the bottom of this page, you will see the Save Progress button. That is where at any point in time while you're filling this out, if you're stuck or you need to get additional information, you can hit that Save button. Everything that you've completed will save, and you can come back at any point in time and pick up right where you left off. Also next to that is the Next button. Selecting that will then kick you over to page 2. If there is anything that is missing on this application or on page 1 of the application that has to be filled out, it will not let you proceed onto page 2. It'll have everything highlighted in red for you. Once everything is completed and you then hit the Next button, it'll take us over to page 2 of the application. At this point, most of the application is just a series of yes or no questions that will then expand based on what you select. So a really quick overview of how this would look. Here are the first several sections of the event application. If we would say for section 4, city park use, and select yes, that we are going to be in a park, the application now expands to show some additional park information. If, however, that section did not apply to you, you would just say no and move on to the next section. So the application will actually grow and expand based on the complexity of your event and the requirements and the resources from the city that are required. Now, we're not going to go through the entire application just because every event is complex and different, and we could go down various rabbit holes onto what specifically each department needs. But ultimately, like I said, the application will expand based on what you're looking for, but there are a few other key things that I wanted to point out. Near the bottom of page 2, we have a few sections that have options for you to upload files. One in particular was the site plan. That is going to be a simple map of showing where everything is located on your event site. And if you would actually go back to the event planning guide, we have a section in there talking about what is required on the site map, but here is a spot that you can come and upload that. You can make changes to your site plan at any time. You can delete that file and re-upload a new version if that would need to happen. Same thing with a certificate of insurance. Most events do require that. If your event is a smaller one that does not meet the requirements for needing insurance, that will actually remain blank and there's nothing for you to upload, so you can just move on to the next section. There are various spots along the application that you do need to upload documents, and those will appear within those specific sections. One of them in particular is back in the street closure section. We have a petition page for you to get signatures for the other businesses and residents along the street that you are planning on closing. You will be able to print off that document, get the signatures, and upload it into the street closure section itself. Now at the bottom of this page, again, there is the Save Progress button where you are able to save your progress at any time because there are a lot of details that go into your event and you might not be able to finish everything in one sitting. Once you are complete and you have everything done, you can submit by selecting the Submit button at the bottom of the page. At that point in time, you will be actually locked out of the application. You will not be able to make any more edits or changes. That's your way of saying, yes, it is complete. At that moment, you will actually get several notifications depending on your responses, and city departments will be receiving notifications along with some already pre-filled applications for you. So a perfect example of that is, again, using street closures as an example. If you are using parking meters or trying to request them to be removed from the service, the parking meter request form will be automatically filled out and sent to the appropriate city staff for you. So it's one less application for you to have to fill out. So again, just a quick review of everything that we talked about today. The event planning guide is the main resource of finding all of the information for planning events, and it is the house for our online event application. To create an account, we just need very simple information of your username, a password, and an email address. It is very important for you to complete page 1 of the application first and foremost. That will allow us to get you on the calendar, reserve your date for you, and move forward with the process. And at any point in time, then a staff person will be able to coordinate with you if you have any questions along the way, and then you can proceed to page 2 of the application. As I said before, various city departments will have access to this application as well, so we can hopefully open up that communication, that we can work together behind the scenes with you and make the entire process a whole lot easier. And I want to say thank you all for coming out. And on this final slide is my contact information along with Jason Nicholson.